Hi, everybody, and welcome to another Bastards of Boston post-game show. We invite you in to a historic night where we had to bring the one and only Terry Cushman in tonight to discuss tonight's historic 1 hour, 49-minute game. First time since 1975 that has happened, of a complete game. Amazing start, all nine. Shutout, complete game for Tanner Houck. Terry, I welcome you in. What a game, what a night, and the best start of his career ever from Tanner Houck.
It would take you longer to watch 4 episodes of Seinfeld than it did to take Tanner Houck mowing down this lineup. Impressive. I tweeted out on Twitter that earlier that Hein Bloom and Dave Bush did no favors for Tanner Houck in the first 3 years of his career, and it nearly defined him. So, how all winter long, how many people were saying he's a reliever, put him in the bullpen, make him the closer? Other people were like, put him in a trade package. He can't face the order the third time through. He's really changed that narrative, and he's only had one bad start. That was his previous start against the Anaheim Angels. He gave up like 10 hits, only struck out 2, 4 earned runs. But they had just seen him the weekend before. So, there was some repetition there, and they were probably a lot better prepared. And the impressive thing about tonight, this Indians lineup, Indians, I'm never going to not say it. The
I do
Guardians.
the same thing all the time. It's ridiculous, too.
The Guardians, only 3 or 4 teams strike out fewer than them. The Guardians just don't strike out. Tanner Houck racked up 9.
Mhm.
So it was an impressive performance.
I tweeted out during this game, I said, Tanner Houck is the best starting pitcher on this Red Sox staff. And I tweeted it out because I truly feel with the talent, the makeup, and everything that he has, if healthy, and of course with the right tools, with the pitching coach of Andrew Bailey and everything, with a guy like him, I mean, the guy has every ounce in the world to succeed here with the right mentality, the right ability to trust his stuff, health. And I think what we're seeing here in the early beginnings here is a guy that I think the Red Sox actually have some talent with.
At this point, what's the ceiling for him? I mean, what he's been showing you is better than a number 5 pitcher, better than a number 4, most likely better than a number 3 starter so far
Yeah.
this year. So at this point, he's pitching like a number 1 or number 2. The only great unknown here, and unfortunately, we won't know what the verdict is until late September, is can he stay healthy? He's never pitched more than 120 innings in a season. So, I mean, he's got to be on pace for probably 160, 170. Can he get there?
It's been a matter of, again, that health component with him. We know when he's right. I want to look back at last year, and he did get lined in the face, and he did go down for, I think it was 2 months or something like that, and it really did ruin his season. He's had the back injury as well from before, but I see a guy that's coming out with a vengeance, a guy that's trusting his stuff and wants to prove that he's worth being a part of this rotation. And the Red Sox need this desperately right now with where they're at. I mean, look at the news today with Garrett Whitlock. Once again, IL bound. Surprise, surprise. They need Houck badly right now, and he stepped up royally tonight. So tip of the cap to him.
They should rename the injured list the Garrett Whitlock list.
It's brutal. It's
he's
brutal. He had
he's
a
always
great
on it.
spring, but just he can't stay healthy. I want the guy to do well. He has all kinds of talent when right. He's just a bullpen guy, though. He's a bullpen dude.
Yeah, I mean, he's not built for 150 innings, like I was just expressing the hope that perhaps Houck would be. So the only problem is you've already got Criswell taking Nick Pavetta's spot, and I'm assuming Pavetta's going to be out for at least another 2 or 3 weeks as he gets ramped up and has 1 or 2 rehab starts. Who's next? They mentioned just Chase Anderson. I don't like that. And a
Joe
Japanese
Jakes
guy.
Joe Jakes got recalled today. We know he's not a starter. So I mean,
No, he's
you
just
don't
another
have
arm.
much.
Yeah. So I guess that's why they have him there. But in a perfect world, he's in that bullpen pitching 3 or 4 times a week for 1 inning at a time. And I think that optimizes what you get from Garrett Whitlock. So we'll see. And the injuries are different every time. You know,
All the time.
he's had a forearm problem. This year it's an oblique.
The
He's
oblique.
had hip problems. He's just not a durable guy. And
Nope.
it's just unfortunate.
To my surprise, we got the news today as well that Rafi Devers woke up and was feeling fine with the knee and everything there. Were you surprised with that news?
I was preparing for the worst. I mean, right
Yep.
away last night, I think before they even got to the clubhouse, they already said he's going to have some imaging done on that knee today. So I'm
Yep.
like, oh man, I'm like, best case, it could be a meniscus. That'll keep you out for maybe 2 months. And I just, it's still too early at this point, but eventually, and I know we have Yoshida for a few years, but eventually people are going to be asking, how soon do you put Devers at DH just to kind of protect your asset? I mean, he doesn't give you much at third. You know, you're going to get tons of errors, negative defensive runs saved. All of his value is in the batter's box. You saw it last night. He hit a 2-run double. It put the Red Sox up momentarily until Kenley had something to say about it. But
Mm-hmm.
eventually Devers has to come off at third base, and that will only improve the defense that much more.
I'll even do you one better here. I would have him at DH right now, but you're not set up as a team right now to do that. You're too crippled right now with your roster on where you're at. Yoshida has to DH. I mean, he's a disaster when he goes into the outfield. He scares you to death. I mean, they're just not set up to do that. I'm surprised that we've never seen any mention, any sort of figuring out moving over to see him what he does at first base. I know you got Casas and everything too, but I just find it weird over the past few seasons where we've been at that you've never seen him do anything with the glove at first.
Well, I mean, it's hard to just take Casas out of the lineup. I think he might have even. I don't think it's the biggest hot take ever to say that Casas is now the best hitter on the Red Sox, just with
Yep.
his elite control of that strike zone. His approach never changes. Devers, as elite as he is, he's swinging out of his shoes a lot,
All the time.
very, very inconsistent. So I think Casas could be your best hitter. So I think the Red Sox would be reluctant to do anything there. Best case, Yoshida just goes on fire right now
Yeah.
in the batter's box, and maybe they can ship him. But
last thing I wanted to mention to you too on this show, Connor Wong and Reese McGuire definitely have exceeded expectations so far. Do you entertain trying to find more time for these two guys to play every day?
Well, Wong can play middle infield. I don't know how well. It's hard to imagine it would be much worse than Reyes and Valdez.
Yep.
But
Or
one way
Bobby
or the
Dahlbeck.
other. Well, Dahlbeck plays a good third, but he's just a massive black hole in the lineup offensively. It still doesn't have a hit in 2024. But with Wong, Alex Cora said that he thought McGuire was the guy. He was the guy with the leg up that was the better offensive asset, and he would get more time. But I think Connor Wong has put that to bed. The dude's hitting 382 right now, hasn't drawn a walk, but he hit at a very good clip in spring training, and you're seeing
Had a
the
huge hit
power.
last night. Huge hit.
Yeah. Yeah. And then a home run tonight. I mean,
Yep.
that was the only legitimate run we had besides the balk that everyone questioned,
Yep, that's true.
that brought in Duran.
Surprise, surprise, the balk wasn't called by Angel Hernandez either. But that's another time for another show and another podcast to get into something like that. The Red Sox will conclude this series against the Guardians tomorrow afternoon, the Thursday afternoon game. We'll be here as well to break it down for you. We hope everybody has a great rest of your night. Take care, everybody.